Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and coming to you on a beautiful Sunday when I'm recording this. You guys will get this released on Friday. Was going to be doing a different podcast today, but ended up switching it back. We're going to have a cool guest coming on. I'm excited to have him on, and just got stuck in traffic. So we will be doing a new one, but before I get started, if you guys are watching on the YouTube, I'm showing the t-shirt I broke in, have sent them out. I'm actually gonna have to put a new order in because we've sent so many out, which is amazing. The back just says New to Medical Device Sales. So if you guys have listened to the podcast about the ebook, have used the strategies from this resource to break into the industry and have gotten in, please reach out. I'd love to send you a t-shirt, just a little thing to say thank you and for listening, and also just a big congratulations to you because I know how hard it is to break into this industry. So I'd love to just give you like a little present for you guys to remember it by. If you guys are watching on YouTube, please press that like and subscribe button so we can grow this channel. Same if you guys are listening on the podcast, a 5-star review helps us. And again, if you guys are interested in learning how I got 4 job offers from top 30 medical device sale companies with no sales experience, check out the link in the description. I always blank on that. It's in the show notes at newtomedicaldevicesales.com where we have my ebook. And again, we will be posting a new ebook here in the next following months. Again, I'm just working on editing. It's going to be about my first year in, how I broke in, and excited to get that to you guys so you guys can just, again, see what my first year was like in more depth, that I can also share some experiences and just things that I would do even more, just again, more in depth than I do on here because I had more time to think about it. I'm able to go in and it's gonna be a little longer. So excited to get that to you guys. But today I'm coming out, I ended my last podcast kind of going on a little tangent about this. And so I said I would make a whole podcast. And again, majority of you, if you didn't listen to the whole podcast, you wouldn't have heard that last in. But a common question I get asked is Onsite Specialist roles. You know, a Stryker has these. I know BD. There's all these different big companies that will have these roles about, hey, you could work for these top companies and you could get your foot in the door, but you're not a sales rep. You're not an associate sales rep. Should you do it? Should you really break in this way? And maybe this is a stepping stone for you to break into the industry. So I wanted to just cover that in more depth today because it's something that I've actually had a lot of questions. I actually was on 3 calls this week with people getting offered it. I got offered it. I never talked about it because, again, I didn't think it was, you know, it's not a role in sales, right? And it's not a role in medical device. They make you feel that way, but it's not. And so I just wanted to like give my thoughts again. Now, when I say all this to everybody who likes to message me and people who listen to my podcast but have nothing to do with the podcast, I just want to put this and make it as clear as I can. This is my opinion. This does not make it right. This is not the end all be all. This is my opinion as someone who wanted to break into medical device sales, wanted to come and make an impact right away, and wanted to land the role that I wanted and have success. And as of right now, knocking on some wood, I have had some great success. So again, take that with a grain of salt of I'm a person who, as you guys can tell by now, if you guys have watched me on the podcast, I give it to you straightforward. I don't sugarcoat it. It is what it is. And I'm a person who, if I want something, I go all in. I'm a type A personality. I'm addictive personality. Like if I want something, I'm going to just focus on that and go sole source until I get it. Don't care what anybody says. That's who I am. All right. So I just always try to make that as clear as I can because that might not be you, and that's okay. But I that's who I'm talking to because, again, that's why I decided not to go to medical sales college. That's why I decided not to go to B2B and all this other stuff, which we'll touch on, is because I just had enough belief in myself and felt like, hey, I have the tools to make things work with it. And so, again, this is my opinion. Always take it with a grain of salt. And I say that to everyone because, you know, I'm brand new in this. I'm 1 year in. I'm having more success. I'm having more experience. And again, I do feel like, you know, I give some good sound advice, especially from, you know, all the screenshots I get from people breaking in and saying thank you. But again, I'm not the only one. There's other people to talk to, other people who have other experiences. Like I say this all the time, you know, like I've had Jay on here, Jay Pendleton, great experience, 20 plus years, like he's the dude, like I like to learn from him. He'll probably give you some answers differently than I would. And that's a great thing, right? Because he's got more experience. I can always learn from him, but this is just my experience and this is what my opinion is to people. So again, I just always want to make that as clear as I can be, or as I can, because it's always funny to me when people will listen to this podcast and then they'll come and slide into the DMs and they're like, well, you missed this or you didn't do that, or they'll send me a text and I'm like, okay, cool, but like make your own podcast, do your own thing if you want to talk about it, right? Like, so again, that's just me on a tangent. That's me as being real as I can be. I really don't care if people watch this and it hurts their feelings, because I'm not here to make your feelings feel good. I'm here to get you guys jobs, and also to the people who have their own podcast or whatever going on and they want to watch mine and listen to mine and tell me what I could do better. I feel like they could just take that time and actually just do their own podcast and shows, and they might be a little happier. So going into it, before I just go on another tangent, let us go into, should you be an on-site specialist? So again, what these are entry levels. If you guys don't know what they are, like, again, I don't know, let alone like, I've said Stryker, BD, some of these bigger companies, again, you also have to be smart with what I say legally, but what I have understood when I got pitched the job was it was going to be, you're going to be at a location. Maybe you have one or two, but for the majority, what I took was you're going to be at one location. You're going to be the specialist of a product at that location, and you're going to do all the work there. And when I talked to some of them would be like, hey, you're going to be on the job site for 12, 14 hours, 6 to 6, 6 to 8, like you're doing these cases and you're in charge, and you can help the reps, right? You're going to be a resource of the reps. But you're not a rep. You're not an associate rep. And so that's what I really want to talk to you guys about is this a great way to get your foot in the door? And let me give you my opinion and why I feel this way. I personally don't think it's a great way to get your foot in the door, and here's why. When they pitched the job to me, it's very entry level, right? And when I say entry level, you don't need experiences. Really, anybody can do it, and you could be making, $40,000, I think is what they pitched to me, 45, and that was actually going to be in like Santa Clara area of California. If you guys don't know that, I did an internship there in college when I was trying to break into strength and conditioning. But if you guys don't know, that is like as expensive as it can be, right? Like to give you an example, 4 years ago when I was doing it for strength and conditioning, I lived in an Airbnb, paid $1,000 to live there. And that was a great deal that I got told a lot of times. So you can imagine if you're making $40,000 and then you take the taxes out of it, now you're making 28, 32, whatever it is. Well, you break that down, you're not even making $3,000 a month after taxes. And then it's like, oh, you have $1,000 rent. Well, now you have $1,000 to get groceries, get gas, all that stuff, right? And so that's why my opinion is of the entry level position when it's that low, it's not a great, because it's very hard to do a living. Now, here's my thing. If you're right out of college, you're used to being broke, you're used to not having money. And when I say that, it's not mean. I'm just saying, like, I came out, you're trying to get started, you're used to living off of pennies, you can make $60 last a week, like lived it, been there. Maybe that's something you want to do, but here's my opinion. Here's the reason I say no again. They're going to tell you, you're going to do it. You're going to be a resource. You're going to help the reps. You can make relationships with the reps, right? And then if you do a good enough job in 1 to 2 years, you have the opportunity, again, you're not going to funnel into it. You have the opportunity to become an associate sales rep, which again is the entry level of med device. So if then you get the associate sales rep, then you got to do another 1 to 2 years before you're looking at a full line sales rep. So in all, you're looking at dedicating 4 to 5 years before you're ever a full line sales rep. And then, like, here's my whole talk, right? Because everybody sees, financially what full line sales reps can make. And again, it can be a good living, and they are like, oh, I want to do this. Well, if you're like, hey, I'm 22, 23, I want to break in, I want to do this. That, again, might not be a horrible idea, but again, this is my whole talk. It's a gamble. It's a gamble because you go do this. Maybe it's not what you thought. And also what will be harder is if you do it and you're working a lot and you make no money, right? Like that was always something for me when I was like in strength and conditioning. Again, not bagging on it. I still like it. I still do it private sector, but like in the college world, it was like you go work 14 hours a day and it's like you want to take your girl out on a date and you can't. Like I couldn't take anyone on a date because I'm like, shoot, I can barely buy groceries this week. And that, like, for me, that just didn't sit well. Again, some people that might not matter. Money might not be the biggest thing, but I'll be real. If you're trying to get in sales, money's probably something that is on your mind. So again, with these on-site specialists, this would be my opinion, and again, what I would do if I was it. And this is what I did, right? They offered me that, and in my head I said, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I go work and do all these hours and dedicate all this time to possibly get a job as an associate, to do that for 2 years, to possibly become a full-line sales rep, right? In my head, everybody says you want to go get that B2B sales experience. They always say ADP, Cintas, Paychecks, Enterprise, all these B2B sales, and go be really good at that. If you're a President Club winner, then you go. Now, here's why I say that. You got to learn how to sell, because I promise you, majority of the time, an associate sales rep, they will take somebody who is a great salesperson over a person who knows how to run a machine, right? Or a product. And again, if you're just trying to go to that product, maybe you got the chance to come in, right? But a lot of times they're worried about sales. So they want to know that you know how to sell. So it's like, what, are we going to gamble on the person who can talk to a doctor but has just been helping out? Or are we going to go with the person who's been a President Club winner at these ADPs, Cintas, blah, 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 right? So again, that's why I would say most likely they're going to take a sales position over. So I would go get the sales experience, because even from there, you're going to go anywhere from that. Because when you're going a specialty and you're trying to do just one product, you're kind of pigeonholing to be like, what this, and maybe you'll be an associate in that one position, right? Compared to if you go and work a B2B sales job, first off, you're going to get experience where sales is going everywhere. No matter where you're at, sales is sales is sales. I say that all the time. But number two, if you're good at it, you'll make money, right? Like if you're good at ADP and you hit President Club winner, you probably made some money doing it, right? Because you're getting paid off of your percentage or your quota or whatever it is. So that's always my advice, is that even if you're a young person, why not go get sales experience? See what it actually tastes like and what it feels like to get yelled at, to get told no, to get some wins even, right? And then also to see what it looks like on a commission check when it's like, hey, I did that. That's pretty cool. Oh, my bank account looks like that, compared to if you're just going and sitting on the side and, working at the hospital for that stuff. And then even so, and transfer it off to on-site specialist, these entry-level roles, I talked to another person last week. They got offered to go, it was entry level. They were going to be traveling the whole, pretty much the West United States, but he made it sound like maybe the whole United States, but basically the West region. So he's going to be on planes all the time, going to different locations. And then he's going to go and make sure that the hospitals that are on stock with their product have it. And he's going to scan them in and make sure they're always fully stocked, and going and just going bam, 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 right? And this is the thing. As somebody who's done it, somebody who thought about it, I was like, oh, living on an airplane would be great. And then it's like, it is until week 3. Again, I haven't been that crazy where I was traveling every week, but that was a position that I actually interviewed for. I was going to be traveling 3 weeks out of the year, or 3 weeks out of the month. 3 weeks out of the month. So I might get 1 week at home. And then this is what I tell people. It sounds great. You're going to see some cool stuff. You'll get some mileage. Again, if you're young and you want some miles and go do that stuff, it's cool. But in the same respect, it's like, A, it's entry level. They're going to pay you no money. B, yes, they'll pay for your flights. They'll pay for your hotels. You'll do that stuff. But if you saw Southwest, they just canceled all their flights. So if that's you just got canceled. Now you're getting rebooked. Now you just got a delay. You're doing that. And now you've done that 3 weeks in a row, and you don't even have any clean clothes because you haven't been home to do your laundry. So again, there's all this stuff. And again, there's not a right or wrong. But my comment to him was, I guarantee you they're going to pay you no money, and they're going to try to move you out. I think his was going to be in LA. So they're going to move you out to LA, where when I looked at it, I was getting offered a position in LA as well, like a crappy rent. I was going to rent a room out of someone's house for $1,400. So if you're going to get an apartment, it's $2,400 or $2,000. It's like, okay, right away, that's 25, 26. If you go utilities and everything, you're looking at 24 to 30 grand just on your expenses. So if you made 40 grand, you got $10,000 to now live. Take gas out of it. Maybe they pay for your gas. I think he was going to get a company car, but it's like, take groceries out of it. Take just living expenses. Oh, you want to go home and see your family? There's all these things. So something to think about. And he ended up actually not taking it because we had to talk. Again, I didn't know what the actual thing was going to be. We just talked before the final interview, and I said financially make sure it makes sense for you, because what these companies will do a lot of times is they know there's a lot of people hungry to get into medical device sales, and they will be like, hey, come do this. It could be a good pathway. They're going to pay you no money. And let me just make this very clear, because I try to be as open as I can. When they offer you 40, 50 grand, you guys, one of these when these companies do that, they will make that off of in a week minimum. Like if they do a surgery, like for example, if it's orthopedics and they do a surgery and they bill 30 grand and their overhead is not 30 grand, like they can pay your salary of $40,000. And if they did 4 surgeries, they just paid your whole salary for the whole year. They just paid it off in a week, right? So something to think about. Welcome to business. That's how people do it. They pay you a salary, an employee. Well, they expect to make money off you, right? But just think about that, right? So they're going to pay you 40 grand and you're going to be like living on crumbs, and they just made that in two surgeries. And now you're traveling and doing this. And then what they told him, and this is why he didn't take it, is, hey, there's no promise that you're going to be an associate after this. You might, if you made good relationships and you do your stuff, you might get it, but maybe not. Now, here is why I say no. If that sounds good to you and you're like, hey, I'm cool with making no money, I'm cool with traveling or doing all this stuff, working, grinding, for a maybe no and a maybe yes to break into med device 2 years from now if I'm good and it works out, that's cool. Go for it. Now, here's my opinion. It would be like, we go do the sales, but for him, it's like, why not take that same time? And everybody told me I want to break in, and I just networked. I called everybody. Like, you already heard the story, 3,000 people. Go back if you haven't. I've reached out to so many people, but like, spend that time reaching out to reps, trying to buy them coffee, getting in front of them, just making relationships. And I promise you, if you go hard for 6 months to a year, you will break in. Now, here's my talk. Why not eat it for 6 more months, work a job that's minimum wage or whatever you have to do to get by for 6 more months to a year to get it, to go into an associate position that is a fast track. Again, you do it, you're going to make more money than you would if you were these entry-level roles. Plus, you would then be, after those year or 2 years or whatever, you have the experience, and then you could go into a full line sales rep, compared to if you do this and it's a 1 to 2 years of job performance, and then you maybe go to associate, and then you maybe, so that's my whole talk, is why not go as hard as you can, and then maybe in a year from now, or 6 months to a year. And let me just make this clear. If you guys are good, you're talented, or if you just like are determined and know what you're doing, it won't take you a year. It may be 6 months or under, because the process can take a while. But again, if you go hard with networking relationships, you show that you're hungry, you show you can follow up, you show that you're going to make a difference, you show that you can be a resource to somebody's team. I promise you, it won't take that long to break in if you are doing the right things. And putting in the work. That's the biggest thing, right? I've met people who have all that, but they reached out to 20 people. 20 people is not going to get you anywhere. Reached out to 100 people, and then we'll talk, right? Like, that's my whole thing, is if you've literally talked to 100 people on the phone, I would be very surprised if you haven't had several interviews, right? Like, that's just the reality. And again, I bring it all back. Welcome to sales. You want to talk to more doctors, you got to talk to more offices to get those conversions, right? Or to hospitals or whatever it is. So again, that's a big take. But again, the reason I said the entry level, I think it's more beneficial for you guys to go get the B2B experience if that's what you want. Again, and this is my thing. I didn't have B2B, but I did personal training. I had a whole business. I only ate if I trained people, right? That's no different than B2B. They might not consider it, but I promise you, my job was much harder than someone selling copiers, because you had a product, you just did this. I had to make somebody come, pay me, do all the work, and then they had to like it enough and get results. 2 things. And that they had to like it enough to come back and do the workout, and B, they had to start getting results. So I feel like mine's compared to, you sell a printer. Hey, this printer does this. Cool. I was looking for a printer. Bam, bam, sale. Done. Nope, not with personal training. It's re-up, right? So like for me, that's why I'm like, I don't need to go sell a copier or a printer or a paycheck or whatever the heck they wanted me to sell. I was like, I know how to deal with people. I know how to, do sales. I know how to make a living and eat what I kill with doing training. No difference than any other sales, right? And so that's why I decided to go the route I did. But that's why I'm saying it. Instead of going and working this entry-level job, they're going to pay you 40 grand or below, and they're going to like try to tell you, oh, all this great stuff because you're 24, you're just out of college. Well, why not take the same time, and you guys listen to these podcasts. I have several people on here that got job offers to be an associate sales rep when they were in college still. Like, why not go for that? Why would you want to waste your time in 2 years of making no money to then 2 more years of not making a lot of money to be doing all this grunt work to possibly one day make it? And then again, I try to make this as clear as possible. Just because the average, let's say, I think the last time I posted and every time you check it up, like the average is 150K. So it's 150K to be a medical device sales rep. Well, let me promise you, you're most likely not making that your first year, right? Like it's the average. So there's some people making 80 grand that are full line sales reps, and there's some people making 300, but most likely your first year, you may or may not, like for me, that's my goal is to be above the average, to make the average or be above it, but like not everybody's going to be at that. Not everybody's going to have the opportunity. So just something to think about when you guys are trying to break in. So again, entry level roles, it's nothing bad if you think that's good for you. And again, I should end this way. There's no right or wrong answer. There's not. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And everybody who's ever called me about that position, I say the same thing. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. Me personally, I want to do it. But that's, again, I'm different than you. You're different than me. We have different drives. We have different characteristics. We have different strengths and weaknesses. And we have different options and goals that we have for our life. So again, you guys just have to decide what's the best fit for you and what best fits your life and your goals, where you're trying to get to. And again, my whole thing is, if you guys are really committed to being a medical device sales rep, why not go and work as hard as you can to break into being an associate sales rep right away instead of a maybe and go work for no money? And if you're going to go work for no money, might as well go be a sales job and get the experience, and then you at least have that on your resume. Because here's my whole thing. Say you're trying to do it. I just talked to somebody, they were trying to break into medical device sales. They didn't, but they got with a top company and they're doing sales for that company and they're going to make a great living. And then eventually they might be able to break into medical device sales a couple of years from now. But the reason I'm saying that is if you go do sales and you learn this and you start getting good at it, it doesn't matter what you sell. Like there's people who go sell solar panels or roofs and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's people I know who sell glass windows and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Like it doesn't matter what you sell. If you can get the skill of selling, you can be successful financially, or whatever success I guess looks like for you. You can do that. So again, that's my opinion. Again, I'm more of the person, why would I work all this time for a maybe and make no money? Then you could, like, you literally have 40 grand, you guys, I literally say this all the time, you could go work a minimum wage job and you could work just as much hours. If you're gonna work 14 to 18 hours a day, go work a minimum wage job and you probably make more. Like, that's just the reality, right? And like go work, my go-to place, Chipotle, go work Chipotle, make 15 bucks an hour out here. Like, if I'm gonna work 14, 18 hours a day, you get free meals out of it, like, you know what I mean? Or go do sales. That's just my experience and from what I would say. And again, everybody that I've talked to who has taken my advice, usually when they decline that entry level role that was going to pay no money and they're going to do all this traveling, and they just committed, usually within 2 to 4 months, they already were getting some looks that they break in as an associate sales rep, which again is already a step higher than the entry level. They're going to make more, and now you got the option to do good, and now you're going to be a full line sales rep. So again, that was probably drug out longer than it has to be, but I just want you guys to know there's no right or wrong answer. I just always give my opinion on, like, hey, what's going to benefit you guys the most? And because I care about you guys, like, because it's the same. I'm talking to myself. Would I want to personally go back and be 22, 23, or 26, even where I'm at now? Because I have talked to people who are doing this, and you want to go work for 40K, like I said, at the end of the day, when you add taxes, insurance, everything in, 40K is no money. And especially if it's just you, like, that's no money. If you have a significant other or a kid, no way, you can't. There's no way it would be almost impossible to like live, especially if you're going to California and they're offering you 45 grand to live. Like, that would be so tough. So again, go get experience. Again, nothing wrong with sales experience, B2B. I just didn't take that route, but I already had quote unquote sales experience that I figured would be beneficial. Turned out it did. But again, if you guys don't have that, if you're new or you're just wanting to break into sales, my best advice, go get sales experience. Go do what they say, B2B, because they told me all the time, the recruiters and everybody would say, go work B2B, do it for six months to a year, show that you can sell, and then reach out, and now you have sales experience and you're a better candidate, right? So that is my spiel on that. Again, nothing wrong with it. If you guys decide to go be an entry level, like an on-site specialist or one of these entry level roles, nothing wrong with it. It's whatever good with you. I just would give advice like I'm talking to a friend. I would probably go do something else that would get you better skills to go and break into medical device sales if that is your long-term goal. So hope you guys found this helpful. If you can, press that like and subscribe button. If you guys are listening on the podcast, 5-star review helps us get to more people. And then again, new to medicaldevicesales.com. Link is in the description. We'll go over how I got 4 job offers. Again, I go over my 30, 60, 90-day plan. I go over my business plan I had, how I was able to message managers, my follow-up messages, everything I did to get 4 job offers from top 30 medical device sale companies with no previous sales experiences. And I did that in air quotes if you guys are listening, because again, I always believed I had sales experience. They just didn't. But again, it's you have what it takes. You guys just have to work hard, and sometimes you just need a little outline, and that's what the book was for, is, hey, I get asked all these questions. I don't have time to jump on a million calls, but I can show you everything I did, and you literally can copy and paste and make it your way and do that. So hopefully you found this helpful. I'm excited for some of the upcoming episodes for you guys. If you guys would like to reach out, please reach out to Jacob McLaughlin on LinkedIn or TikTok and YouTube. You guys can reach out to us as well, Jacob McLaughlin. New to medical device sales will all get pulled up on TikTok, Instagram. So again, just reach out to me. Love hearing from you guys. Would love to hear if you guys have any questions or topics that I can go over for you. Again, just try to help as many people as I can. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys keep on going after your goals and your journey goes well, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.